Hello everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which I am streaming and creating today. I'd also like to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. My name is Flynn and I'm usually the host sitting down with someone from our community, but we have been exploring generative fill, I should say, in Photoshop. It's been a ton of fun. So we're doing a couple of these solo streams just to explore the possibilities of AI and machine learning within our workflow, which has been lots and lots of fun. So if you are watching live, where's my chat? Good start. So I'm just bringing up Behance chat. You can ask questions as we're going along. I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. If you're over on YouTube as well, I'll try and keep an eye on the questions that are there. Who's in the house? Johanna is looking after me today in chat too. And Annika as well. And Alessandra, that's great. It's great to have you guys with us. Love to know if you are playing around with generative fill at all, if you've had a chance. I know, Annika, you've been doing lots of branding streams and things like that, so don't know if you've had a chance to dip your toes in, but I've been having quite a lot of fun. Let's just get stuck into it because got about 45 minutes today to play around. We're going to start in Adobe Firefly. So what I would really like to do is... Oh, I haven't even... where's my camera? Let's get back here. Okay, so the theme of the stream today is there's a computer game that is coming out tomorrow that I've been waiting 20 years to play, arguably, called Diablo 4. I would love to no life this, but I actually can't for about another 2 weeks until I'm going to have some time to actually play around with it. So instead of that, I am hijacking my job with a little bit of hype for the game. It's like dark, kind of low fantasy, medieval sort of stuff. If you haven't heard of Diablo before, it's very exciting for me. And that's what I'm going to theme the stream on today, and we're going to see if this works. So let's do some prompting. So what I would really like is I want to kind of create a bit of a somewhat photorealistic, maybe a bit illustrative kind of environment with a druid, basically. So one of the characters from the game that is launching tomorrow, that is probably the one that I'm going to play the most. And so we're actually going to start with a background. I did a little bit of a test around the other day, which I used for the thumbnail art around a forest. So I think something in a bit more of a snowy environment. If you've got ideas, please, for prompts and tweaks and things, please throw them in chat. But let's get rolling. So I was thinking like a snowy wilderness. We kind of want something a bit photorealistic. Want like sharp. Let's see how we go. So we'll just get started, get the prompts going. We definitely want a widescreen for our background. Annika in chat saying that you have, I was so excited. I thought that you were talking about Diablo 4, but no, you've played around with generative fill. That's cool. That's great. That is also good. So yeah, it's a pretty good start. I don't think we want to go with photo for the background. I think I do want something kind of graphic. Johanna, so far you're explaining my background in Sweden during winter. Yes. Send me a photo of the backyard. This is pretty cool. It's probably not looking ominous enough for me. So maybe we want something that is a little bit more like a forest. Whoopsie. Let's do that. Jeremy Lord in the chat, what's up? I knew the Diablo 4 fan art would get you here. Jeremy, let's connect offline on the Diablo 4 hype and let's get in there. Jeremy and I have played a few computer games together over the years and Diablo 4 is one of them. So Diablo 3 is one of them. But yeah, I kind of want a little bit more foreground. Okay, let's get something. I'm not really feeling any of those. I just want a little bit more foreground, so I might try to put some foreground in there as well. We will have to pick something soon, though. I have a backup image that I quite like that's in my trash. It was a little bit more rocky that we can use. This one is good. This one will do. Just a quick tip on Firefly as well. We have had this show similar for a really long time, so I'm just going to demonstrate that. So obviously if there's something that you like, just before you download it, like maybe just have a quick look around and see if there's anything else with any other variations of that image. So you're obviously telling the AI that, yeah, I really like this. Is there something similar, or there's something I like about this? Can you expand upon it? Which is pretty cool. I still like this one, but I also just wanted to show this other feature that I didn't actually know about until the other day. So you can click the menu here and then flick down to use as reference image. And I actually had some really good results doing this. And so reference image will be used to influence future generation, update the prompt to see new results. So you can actually update the prompt, but still use this reference image. And it's pretty cool. So have a play around with that. It's very nice. I want a little bit of with rocks in foreground. Is that how you spell foreground? Whoa. See how we go. Yeah, Druid is where it's at, Jeremy, absolutely. So there's 5 characters in the game that is coming out, and I think Jeremy and I are both gravitating towards the Druid. But so that this doesn't just become a talking episode, we're just going to download this. We're going to make it work. So let's go into Finder. Let's maybe do... we can just keep it there. So I'm going to pop it into my pre-prepared area. Now I am very cheekily going to cut off the watermark for our purposes today. Do not do this at home. Not for commercial purposes, and if you're publishing anything, it really should have the watermark on it as well. So just keep that in mind. We're just going to crop this down. And then we've got this kind of, horizontally kind of bit of space. So let's do a little bit of outpainting. So it's got the, nighttime scene, get a moon in there. Exactly. Yeah, please don't try this at home. At the end, I'm going to put the watermark back on, I promise. So let's just say, actually, let's do it this way, because what I want is a new kind of image. So, nope. Just showing off my Photoshop skills. We're going to crop. Cool. So we're just going to extend this out. Probably not that far. It might struggle a little bit. But this is like a really basic version of outpainting. So what we're doing is we're getting machine learning to understand what is happening on in the image and then paint outside of the canvas. So we've just extended the canvas, and as you probably know, we have this dialog box down here, Generative Fill. If we leave it blank, it just completely leaves it up to the AI to generate some more stuff from your image. So yeah, checking with chat. Please don't try this at home. Yes, exactly, Annika. Yes. Yeah. It's experimental. It's experimentation time. So for the purposes of what I'm trying to show today, I kind of need the extra canvas. So, so as you can see, we get 3 options, 1, 2, 3. Pretty cool. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. Let's move along. And if you haven't noticed, just down in the bottom right-hand side, it's created a new new layer called Generative Layer as well. And it's got the mask, so you can jump in there and make some edits and things like that. We're going to do it again. We're just going to extend this out. This is kind of a pretty cool trick. So the size that you can export from Adobe Firefly currently is pretty limited. It's like 1,700 pixels or something like that wide and whatever tall. But by using outpainting, you can actually continue to kind of grow the canvas and get like quite a lot of detail on there. That's okay. That's okay. That'll do. That'll do. We need to move on. Cool. So that's like a pretty good background, I think. Let's jump in here and we'll just pop it. You can just go right there, Photoshop. Force a habit, saving things all the time. Looking at you, Jeremy. Now we're going to jump back in and we actually want, I did spell foreground incorrectly. Actually want our druid. So I want to do these separately rather than together because I'm going to cut them out anyway. And I've actually found more success found more success kind of doing them separately. I'm not sure why. Like I feel like sometimes when you have the character in the foreground, it blurs out the background to give it a really nice bit of depth, which we actually don't really want. We want to have access to blur things by ourselves if we choose to. And maybe it's just focusing on more on the character. So you can see here that there's not a lot, like the character's very small, and that's essentially what we want, but we actually want more data. So we're going to try and get more of a portrait happening. Thank you, Johanna. The music stopped. Yeah, the outpainting stuff is pretty wild. There's actually a technique as well you can use to kind of combine imagery. I've been getting some really jank faces today, so I don't know what's going on. But we're going to try. I think for this version, we're actually going to go photo. Johanna question, so this would be considered a non-destructive way of working, right? Having it as a mask seems super useful. Yeah, you can, it's just a mask. It's pretty useful. You can jump in there and, you know, change things as you would an adjustment layer or anything like that. You can have pretty much complete freedom. So we're getting these kind of funky faces. This one's not too bad. You know what, we're going to do that. I'm going to struggle to cut her out, but that's fine. We're going to do it. We're going to do an average cutting out job. All right, so let's pop this in. And let's see how we go with object selection. Pretty good start. Oh, this is going to be really hard to cut out. Let's see. How terrible have I done this? Let's have a look. Oh, it's not too bad. Obviously the standard like hands are not really happening for us. Maybe we will need that. So I'm not going to go in here and do too much. Just a couple of little bit of cheeky deletions and stuff like that. We don't want it to be perfect because we don't have that kind of time. Just a little bit of lazy cleanup, I think, will ultimately make things a little bit better. Yep, I'm just using like erase tool. I just don't want any of this stuff here. That will do for us. Cool. Oh, I will never not hold down Shift. So I'm just cheating a little bit. I'm just putting her in the foreground a little bit. Cutting her off. So the hands are still an issue. So there's a question in chat just about this process as well from Jeremy. Is the face completely generated from scratch? As in, that wouldn't actually be anyone, would it? So Adobe Firefly is trained on a version of Adobe stock images. So it'd be an amalgamation of probably a handful of faces that's put in there. So it only uses Adobe stock. So that's where it's coming from. So it wouldn't necessarily be a face, but it will be a bunch of faces to create a new face. That's the idea. So it's generated from, a whole bunch of people's faces. So I'm just going to show you a little bit more of this. Hopefully, whoops, we're going to, see, I just deleted that, but we're going to see if we can get some more of this body. Using, face collage. Yeah, it's a bit like that. Yeah. Little nose from here, a little bit of eyes from here. So yeah, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get Generative Fill to fill in the rest of the person. It's kind of a bit crazy. Okay, that's a new one. It's gone a little bit crazy. Maybe we'll just go down just a little bit and see how we go. We don't want to go out of there. Yeah, let's see what happens if we add. We'll try one more time. Often it's multiple generations or playing with prompts and things like that, which we don't want to spend too much time on today, but got a few other cool things to show. All right, it's kind of melting into the background here. That's fine. I'm just going to go back. We're going to have her just kind of standing in the foreground, I think, because it's not too bad. Obviously, if you had a little bit more time, you could kind of photo manipulate her, you know, behind the rocks or anything like that, but we're just kind of playing with some techniques at the moment. So what we haven't done yet is put any prompts in our generative fill field yet. We haven't actually told it what we want. But what do you think we might have on a druid's head? I'm ahead of time in the stream, so I'm just going to assume that Jeremy or Johanna in chat have written in antlers or horns or something. So I think we're going to go with moose antlers. And we definitely need a spell check. So I've already asked, sent some feedback for the team that we need like built-in spell check for Photoshop now for generative fill, because I'm going to make some spelling mistakes for sure. So let's see how this goes. Taking a little bit extra time, I think. The antlers. Yes, that's right, Johanna. Antlers. Let's see what we get. So tense waiting to see like what's going to happen. Come on, buddy. Let's go. I don't have spinning ball, do I? What's going on? Atlas has broken things today. Is this because we're live? Of course. All right, we're going to cancel that. Let's just see if this works again. Let's try that one more time. You do something like a whole bunch of times practicing for a stream, and then obviously on the day do it exactly the same way and it doesn't work. So if this doesn't work, then I'll probably merge everything and just flatten it, which is like a terrible way to work. But just for the purposes of the stream, I might do that. It might work better. There we go. Okay. So we've got a couple of options. They're not too bad. Not too bad at all. Right? So you can see in this one, it's kind of struggled a little bit. It's got this like floating antler happening, so that's not great. This one's added a bit too much head to the back. So it's kind of struggled with perspective, but that's pretty much bang on. I'll just also show you as well over here underneath in the properties panel, when you create these variations, you can flick through here, but they also still exist over here. So you can click along with these. You can delete them. You can say if it's a good result or a bad result as well, which is really helpful. And you can also just continue to create variations. So you might have it, right? It's like anything with design or creativity. You might have nailed it the first time, but then it's worth just exploring a few more options. Maybe something else will kind of pop in, something exciting or something unexpected. They're not too bad. They're not too bad. So what's that? 3 is good. And 6 is good. So I don't know. What's better? Probably. I just kind of like the shape of this one. Yeah, so I think we like that. It's coming along coming along nicely. Also, just as so you know what's happening here. So it samples every layer unless you turn the layer off. So Jeremy, good point. So Jeremy in chat said, I noticed that it changes the background a bit behind the antlers too. Exactly right. So that's what I was going to say. So it hasn't just added the antlers in, it's actually taking in everything from every layer. So all the pixels that it can see, it's trying to figure out how to place something in this space. Trying to like figure out what I'm trying to do. And so, so it's added the trees in the background, as you can see that, to blend it in. So it's repainted it on top. So if you wanted to select just the antlers after this, you would need to like cut them out. Like you could, so if you check this, I noticed this as well the other day. So if I'm trying to select subject, it can't select the antlers specifically. And even if you, I think, quick selection tool, it still kind of pops out a little bit. So I would just cut them out. Like I would go back to old school deep etching to get that out at the moment, unless someone knows a better way to do it. I haven't figured out a better way to do that yet. But there you go. We're coming along. Definitely going to cheat a little bit, and I think we're going to just want to move it down because the hands are shocking. Oh, that's not going to work. We're going to leave it up. We'll put something in front of the hands. Cool. So she is coming along. And just to kind of demonstrate as well, if we wanted to do, let's say hue and saturation or something like that to blend things together, we can put things on a specific layer if we wanted to. But keep in mind, it's going to affect the background as well when you do this. So I've just added an adjustment layer onto this layer and see it's doing the background. So you could consider like deep etching, cutting things out if you wanted to do that, have full freedom of that. So what else do we have? If we are, a druid, there's a few different things that we might have. Any suggestions, throw them in chat, and I will attempt to make them. I might start with a moon. I think I heard moon before. So let's see how we go. I'm just going to pop it back here, I think. Generative fill, and we're going to say maybe full moon. Let's see how we go. I'm going to try it this way by just having it kind of the size of the moon that I kind of want. It should be fairly easy to make. But then I'm also going to select a larger range and see if I add the moon in. Because of that interpolation of the background, it might actually be better just selecting a much bigger area. Yeah, so this is giving us a moon. That's probably the best blended version. I'm just going to turn that off and do a new one. I just want to see a bit of experimentation time. If I select a much bigger area and give it the same prompt, full moon. Oh, a crow. That's a good idea. Diablo, in Diablo 2, you had crows that could fly around and peck things. It was a terrible skill, but it was a very cool one. A bear mount / companion would be so nice. All right, that has not worked at all how I wanted it to. So that does not work that way. Good to know. But we'll keep our little moon. We'll keep our moon. All right, crow pet. Let's see how we go creating a little animal here. All right, so I doubt this is going to work. I doubt we're going to nail this in the next little bit of time, but let's just start with crow, and then maybe we can move on to like crow sitting on shoulder or crow perched. We'll see how we go. Because obviously we're using a database of what images would exist as, hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Looks a bit more like a magpie, but hey. There we go. See, check that out. So it's, you know, that's not bad at all. So it's trying to kind of merge it in. So you can see how it's changed some of that foreground to try to make this crow sit. Looks a little bit more like a duck sitting like that, like duck feet, but and this one's pretty cool too. So I quite like that. Let's generate some more. Let's check it out. Maybe we put the moon in the place where the sun is so that it glows. Yeah, did I put the moon on the wrong side? Yeah, I did. That's all right. Yeah, so look at the shoulder kind of moving around. I'll zoom in a lot so you can see it. So even when it doesn't do a great job, it's trying to just do all the work for me. I think that's actually probably the best one. Like if we zoom out a bit. And then should we put... Sweet Tooth. Yeah, I never actually watched that, but yeah, it's a bit like that, right? I saw that. It's like a kid with antlers, dystopian kind of thing. Johanna, help me out. So where does the moon go? I have to delete it anyway because it's done the background thing, so I can't just kind of move it around. I mean, obviously I could just cut it out, but let's add something else in. So what else did we get? A bear mount companion. All right, so this is probably going to be a bit tricky because there's probably not a lot of photos in Adobe stock of bear mounts. But what we could do is we could try to go for a bear. If that doesn't work, so we kind of want to like maybe a bear in the background. Maybe a bear with armor. How does that? We'll see how we go. I'm sorry, I'll zoom in a little bit more. In a sec. It's not bad. Oh, here's a funny one. I think we need a polar bear, don't we? Oh, oops. See? Spell check. Panzer bear, yeah. Let's see how we go. Oh, he's a funny fella. I think we're struggling with the polar bear prompt. We'll try one more time. So I think it can get like a little bit complicated trying to do too many things at once. So if that doesn't work, we might just throw like a bear in. Yeah, the golden compass is exactly what I was thinking of, Mike. I was trying to think of what's that series. I mean, this looks like AI as, right? Like, so you wouldn't want to use something like that. It's just too far. I'm just gonna go with polar bear. Like, I think if you get there's some points where the limitations of where AI is right now, you might want to just try to get a bear, like a solid bear, and then add armor to it. Some things it can do for you, some things it can't just yet. I mean, that dude's not too bad. We're very zoomed in here. He's not like very fantasy. I want to go maybe angry. Let's see if we can get an angry polar bear. Georgie, Coca-Cola? Oh, the bear, right. Forgot about those ads. Make me feel my age. Look at this dude. Oh my goodness. All right, so putting angry in just really kind of makes them open their mouths. I don't mind that guy. You know what? It's fine. Let's do that. We're level 1, all right? So we have no armor. We have 1 of each pet. Yeah, man, bear, pig. I'm not sure how that would go. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the crow. I think the crow's like really happening. Let's just have a check in with chat. Let's fix this moon up. I think Johanna is right. It needs to be on the right. So let's do full. I mean, maybe it should be a crescent moon because she's not a werewolf at the moment, but that's definitely a different thing. Standing polar bear. Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe that would work. Oh, that's a better moon anyway. It's kind of, I prefer that way more. Of course, you can name your layers if you're better than me, which will make things a little bit easier. I think that layer's done. That's our bear. This one up here is, we'll just delete that moon. Standing bear. Standing polar bear. Let's try it out. So yeah, if you didn't catch that as well, we'd moved on. We created the moon. We've kind of moved on from the generative, from doing the polar bear, and kind of went, yeah, that's good enough. But then we can go, yeah. New feature in Photoshop is naming your layers. Pretty incredible. Check it out. You heard it here first. But yeah, you can go back and continue to add things. And it didn't really do anything with the standing bear, did it? How about we do super literal, last shot at the polar bear, okay? Polar bear standing on 2 legs. We're getting into nightmare fuel territory, Johanna. So yes, sometimes you can get down to kind of some pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, we're giving up on the bear. Bear's not happening. And now I've lost the bear that I kind of liked. These are all a lot of real goofy bears. So that's probably the best one, I think. Yeah. Maybe one more thing. Clarify that it's standing on its hind. I think it's just struggling with bears generally. So I think we should just probably move on. But there's something else that we could do, which is, I was thinking maybe we could do a mount as well. So maybe there's a like a horse. Maybe a horse with armor. Oh, I haven't put it anywhere. All right, let's just see what happens if I haven't selected anything and I just do it over everything, because I don't actually know what will happen here. I think it will break. I think it will just turn everything into a horse. But yeah, it's quite fun just experimenting and seeing what I'm intending to do ends up kind of doing. Oh, it just replaced that because I'm on that layer. Okay, cool. That makes total sense. But we're going to see if we can put the mount like kind of, we got a little horsey back here. So let's do a horse with why can I never spell armor? Yep. So let's see how we go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting as like iterations move forward with the stock sampling as well. Remember, this is still in beta. It's not a terrible horse. It's not terrible. I don't hate the horse. Yeah, but let's try and see if we can fix the foreground. So we should be able to add like fog. Let's see. A herd of mammoth. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like none of this stuff exists, right? Like this is a blank canvas. I haven't created anything. I haven't painted anything. I haven't taken any photos. Whoa, that did not work. Yeah, I kind of really wanted some like... I want to see if we can add some fog into the foreground. Otherwise, we'll jump onto a little bit of LUTs and things like that. Dragon neck horse. See if we have time for that. No, it does not like the fog. All right. Hasn't made it any better, so we'll just move on. So next thing we want to do is maybe just have a look at colorizing the whole thing. So shout out to Ramesh Hari Krishna Shami for this tip for us. Lazy guide to adding filters within Photoshop. So color lookup, we're just adding it as an adjustment layer. I'm just adding it to everything just to kind of bring it all together just a little bit. Obviously, you could spend a lot more time trying to get the color right and try to get imagery and assets and things like that where the angle kind of matches perfectly and everything. But this is quite a quick way to kind of jump through, change some of the details. Some of them are better than others. Hey, that one's looking pretty cool. It's probably not what we're after, but that's quite nice. We're looking for something wintry. It's a bit of winter. Might be a little bit too happy-go-lucky, but we can kind of bring it down. So you can always bring the opacity down on the adjustment layer as well if you don't like it. But yeah, we don't want to drop blues. Edgy amber. So this would be great, obviously, if you maybe we did a fire druid or something like that in this volcano environment and things like that. We could add like a little bit more of this edgy amber to it. But I think there was a moonlight one that I really like. That's only 54%. So that's the full. That's the full thing. But yeah, there we go. We don't want it that much. We're just going to bring it down a little bit. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. And then we're going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to cut the hands off because we don't really have time to deal with the hands. And we might cut the polar bear off a little bit, but that's okay. Just crop it down to that. We got 1 minute left, so there we go. A little bit of outpainting, a little bit of generative fill, a little bit of Adobe Firefly. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been quite fun playing around with this sort of thing and trying to put something together really, really quickly while everything's really experimental. But yeah, thank you for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for jumping in chat as well. Mike, Johanna, Georgie, Herd of Mammoth. I'm sorry we didn't get to that. That's probably beyond my skills at the moment. Jeremy, and who else was in here? Alessandra and Annika as well. So thank you everybody for commenting on the stream and the prompts and everything like that. I hope you're enjoying playing around with generative fill if you are. And Johanna and I will be back tomorrow for another stream, which is a Firefly Friday that we're doing, which is even more experimental, where we're both streaming at the same time and sharing our screen. So please jump in and join us there. If you're playing Diablo, DM me and let's join up, and I'll see you in hell. All right, see you later.